launching a new offer with kids at home. This is how I'm doing it so I can keep my sanity. My name is Danielle Gray. I'm a business coach for mom entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their businesses during school hours while their kids are out of the house so that they can be present for them when they are home without burning out, feeling overwhelmed, or losing their sanity. So if that's you, you're in the right place. I would love it if you would hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so we can hang out some more, because I think this is a good place for you to be. And you might as well hit the bell notification too, so that you're notified when a new video is available and we can hang out again. So first and foremost, something you're going to hear me talk about a lot on this channel is reverse engineering. So when you're launching a new offer, launching can be daunting. There's a lot that goes into it. It's very time consuming. There's a lot of moving parts. And if you don't have the budget to hire a launch team, which I mean, obviously is goals, right? You need to be very careful about how you plan to do the whole launch, how you plan to create the assets, how you plan to actually do the launch, and what your long-term strategy is. So first and foremost, you need to go back to the basics and get very clear on who you're serving with what and why. So first, it's so important that you're clear about what your offer is, who it helps, who it's for, why they need it, what the transformation is, and all of that. So this is like niche and ideal client clarification. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that that's already something that you've worked on. But if you need help with it, I'm going to do another video on that I will link in the description box below, because it's so important. And so many people and women and moms that I talk to that are frustrated about their businesses not being where they want it to be, I find that a lot of the time they think it comes down to like a time management problem, or they need to find that, secret sauce thing that some Coach Barbie has promised them. But when really the problem is that they're just not super clear on who they're helping with what and why. And so they're not properly articulating that in their messaging. And so they're not getting the sales that they want, if they even have an offer to sell, because they're not speaking to the right people about the right parts of their offer. Does that make sense? So if you need help with that, check out the description box below for another video. And if this happens to be posted before that video gets posted and you're seeing it in the meantime, leave me a comment below and I'll make sure that I respond to you with the link for the new video when it's posted. So assuming that you already have all of that, it's important that you work backwards. We have to reverse engineer. So from the launch date. And now when you're using paid traffic, obviously that can shorten the timeline a little bit, because a lot of the ways that even I was traditionally growing my business was organically. And of course, you need a longer runway for organic leads because you need to get in front of more people. But that was 2020. Now we're in 2025 and we are inundated with information. There's so much saturation. Not to say that it's oversaturated. I don't believe in that. But what I do believe in is there's a lot of people trying to get your attention. There's a lot of apps trying to get your attention. There's a lot of content creators just making funny videos trying to get your attention. And the way that social media specifically is designed is to keep your attention and hold your attention by showing you new things all the time, which is why Reels and Shorts and TikToks do so well, is because they're short form content and we have short attention spans. We need instant gratification. So we can use paid traffic to our advantage, but you still need to work backwards and give yourself time to work on the launch assets. So I would still give yourself 4 to 6 weeks at least, especially if this is the first time you're launching this offer, or if this is the first time you're launching your offer in this way. But also consider the long-term effects. I find that focusing on the long term of the launch makes it easier to buckle down and just get done what needs to get done now. So you can do this in 2 ways. One, you can plan to create it once and use it again and again and again, right? So maybe you do the first time you do it live, or maybe you even pre-record it, and then you set it out so that it's being shown to new people all the time and you only have to create it one time, which is a really great way to do it. Or some kind of hybrid where maybe a recorded webinar or challenge, but you're doing live support or whatever in the meantime. There's tons of ways you can do it, obviously. But another way you can do it too is to record the conversion event or the launch thing, or whatever you're creating for the launch. You can create it with the intention of also using it as some kind of bonus resource or additional supplementary resource for whatever the thing is that you're launching. What I mean by that is you can then reverse engineer the offer and you can think, okay, well, what is, and again, this is kind of outside the scope of this video, but I'm going to just touch on it really quickly. You can reverse engineer and go, okay, if the outcome of my offer is X, what is something that I can present them with now that is going to act as kind of the unlocking mechanism, and it's going to make them more successful in the offer. Does that make sense? So what's kind of like a precursor that I could give them in this free thing that's going to make them an even better candidate for the paid thing? Like if they figured this out, they would be set up for success. So for example, I'm just going to give you an example from my manifestation and mindset business when I was niched to that. I had this program called Consistency Kickstart. And it's a 6-week habit stacking program to build a personal and spiritual routine that helps you connect with the universe, that helps you manifest on autopilot. So instead of living in Groundhog Day and reliving the same day over and over again, you're being more intentional with the way that you're living life and all of this. So it incorporated what I call my non-negotiable personal and spiritual practices so that you can really uncover who you are meant to be and really tap into the universal forces and use all of those things. I am very much mixing woo and do. I realize that. So anyway, so that was a program that I created because I had a higher ticket coaching program, and I found myself repeating myself a lot, talking about you need to be meditating, you need to be journaling, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. So I thought I'm just going to put it into a program. And then it was a paid program, but it became the beginning of the high ticket program. So now new people into the high ticket program needed to start with Consistency Kickstart, right? So because it was an unlocking mechanism to be able to make their time inside my high ticket program more successful, because they already had this foundation. They already had built this new spiritual and personal routine into their life, which allowed them to be more successful in the coaching. Does that make sense? So you want to think about what you can create that gives them a tiny transformation, some kind of quick win that positions you as the expert, but also, of course, makes it clear where the gaps still are, right? And then, of course, the offer is what fills the gaps. Okay. So again, I kind of went on a tangent, but that's important. But so once you're clear about what your launch is, you want to work backwards. What needs to be created? And there's a lot of stuff that goes into a launch, even just a simple one. You need to figure out what the actual thing is that you're doing. So let's say you're doing a one-time webinar or a masterclass or something. So you need to make sure you've got your talking points. If you're going to do slides, you need to make a slide deck. If you're making a workbook, there needs to be email reminders so that everybody knows when to be where at what time, because people forget. They don't necessarily open the emails. There needs to be social media posts. Are you doing Facebook ads? Then you need to work on the creative. You need to work on the copy. You need to get the campaign running. You need to be checking in on the campaign. You maybe want to A/B split too. So you need 2 sets or 3 sets or whatever. There needs to be, a landing page to sign up for the whatever the launch magnet is, if it's a webinar or a masterclass or whatever. You need a page for that. You need a form to fill out. You probably want to add tags and things so you can segment these people later. You want to have an email nurture sequence during the challenge or the masterclass, the webinar or whatever, to make sure that they're showing up and they're engaging and they're getting what they need. They know where the replay is found. And then you obviously have a whole sequence to cart open, cart nurturing, cart close, follow up, all of these things, right? So each of these things, and it's not just like launch emails, it's email 1, email 2, email 3, and each one should be an item on your checklist. And I know that sounds like a lot, and the list can get very long and a little bit overwhelming. But in a previous video I did, which I'll link down below in my time management video, I talked about how you need to have each of these things checked off, because especially for moms, we are inevitably going to get interrupted. Whether it's a phone call, or we forgot to eat lunch and all of a sudden we're starving, or we need to go pick up our kid early from school, or somebody's having a, sick day or something, you are going to get interrupted at some point. So by having this very clearly laid out list of tasks that go under each umbrella, which is each project, when you get interrupted, it's much easier for you to sit back down and go, okay, yeah, where was I? Okay, yeah, I did that email, I did that email, I did that email. Okay, now I need to work on this email, right? And it's very clear that that's what you need to be working on next, because so many moms I talk to sit down at their computer, they don't know what they're working on, they spend a half an hour trying to figure it out, then another 15 minutes scrolling for inspiration, and then by the time they figure out what they should be working on, now I got to pick up my kid in an hour, and there's no point in sitting down to do that because it's only an hour. So I might as well just read my book or whatever. And then nothing gets done, and another day is down the toilet. So it's so important to have these tasks and work backwards. And then you want to chunk these things down. I've talked about this in multiple videos. You want to time block for specific tasks, and then you want to chunk specific tasks together. So whether you're recording, like maybe on your landing page, you want to have a video that introduces you and your training, and then on the thank you page, you want to have a video that says, thanks for signing up. This is what to do next. Record those videos at the same time. There's no point in recording videos at separate times. You're already in the mode. You already have your phone out or your computer out or your lighting set up or your makeup on or whatever. Just record all the videos at once, right? When you're doing the social media posts, just schedule them out. You can even schedule on your personal profile now. You can always have been able to schedule on your business page. You can schedule in a Facebook group if you need. I think you can even schedule on Instagram now. You want to be scheduling that out. And you also want to be scheduling your time to actually create these assets too, right? This is important. This is what I'm talking about, time blocking. And this is part of the MOM method: manifest, organize, master. You manifest what you want the launch to be, what you want it to look like, how many people you want to call in, what you want the income goal to be, how you want it to go, how you want to feel during the launch, after the launch. And then you want to organize that, time chunk it down, time block it, get it on the calendar, figure out when you're going to do what, figure out when you need, like for me, I mean, you can imagine my hair is a bit of a process, right? So if I'm going to be recording today, well, I need to wash it yesterday, right? So that it doesn't look wet, but it also is not super fluffy yet, because you know what I mean? My hair gets bigger and bigger as the week goes on, and then I've got to co-wash it at some point. And so these are things that I have to consider, right? And I'm sure whatever your hair is, I'm sure it's the same. You don't want it to be greasy in your videos. You don't want it to be wet in your videos. So you got to plan, you got to plan for these things, right? It's also important that you plan for curveballs and buffer times. So this, again, I talked about this in a previous video, why I work with a 20-hour work week instead of a 25-hour work week. And you can actually, in the description box below, you can get my 20-hour work week blueprint for mom entrepreneurs, which will help you plan all this out. We technically have 25 hours a week to work with, but I only plan to use 20 so that I have that 5-hour buffer time just in case I don't feel like it, in case something takes me longer than I thought it was going to, in case something gets deleted when it, I don't like to plan for worst case scenarios, but let's be real, things happen, right? I have written full Facebook posts before, right in Facebook, and then for whatever reason, I swipe out of it, or it freezes, or something happens, I get distracted, and then I go back and it's gone, when I realize I should have been typing it in Google Docs or something, but that's beside the point. So this is why you want to make sure that the runway for your launch is something that is realistic. I really don't like that word, but still, you want to make sure that you're building in a 4 to 6 week runway so that you have time to build all these things. And you want to build it very intentionally so that you don't have to build it again like this. Like, even if you want to run that, like, let's say you're doing a masterclass. Let's say you want to run this masterclass live again another time. You don't need to redo the slides or the workbook or anything. You just need to show up live the next time. You can recycle the same emails, the same posts, the same graphics, because you're attracting new people every time, right? That's the whole idea, is especially if you're using paid traffic, you're attracting new people every time. So you can keep recycling the same presentation. You can just record it live. So it pays to spend the time to do it properly the first time. But also there's a fine line between doing it perfectly and perfectionism and overthinking and all of that. So just, like, I'm going to add this caveat here. Just be honest with yourself about when you're getting stuck in perfection mode. Done is better than perfect. And you can also use buffer time or future launches to perfect it, tweak it, change it. Like, it's better to just get it out there and start talking to people, because nobody can buy something that they don't know exists. People can't buy from you if they don't know who you are. So it's more important that you get out there and just do the thing and worry about perfection later. I'm sure you can see by now the power of reverse engineering your launch, and planning and time chunking and batch creation and all of that, because that's going to help you keep the momentum you need to keep going in the direction of your dreams, right? And that's why I start everything with the manifest piece, to get clear on what you want and then commit to that, because it makes it so much easier to stay on track with what you're creating when you know what the outcome is, when you know the direction you're going, when you know that it's all going to pay off in the long run. Because I've said in a previous video, and I will say it in many other videos, the strategy is not as important as the belief in the strategy and the belief in yourself. Any strategy works. If it's worked for anybody, it will work for you too. That's not the problem. The problem is you believing in yourself and believing that the outcome you want will be reached. And also knowing that even if this launch doesn't go the way that you want, it's all just feedback, and you can just tweak it and try again another time. Right? This is not like a one and done thing. It's not like you're just going to do all this work for 4 or 6 weeks and then do this launch, and then if it doesn't go the way you want it to, it abandons it. You just tweak it. It could be your messaging. It's almost never the pricing, but it could be. It's more likely a messaging, because if you're speaking clearly enough to the transformation your offer provides, and you're making that clear throughout your launch, then it doesn't matter what the price is, because there's always a buyer. I mean, I know people who struggle to afford $97 offers. And I know people who can easily pay 30 grand to work with a coach. So it's all relative, right? So it's your job. And this is why it's important to clarify who you're talking to about what and why, and clearly articulating the transformation you provide, because then it makes it so much easier to make a good informed buying decision. But these are also things that you're going to learn over time and tweak as you go. So especially if this is a new offer and a new launch, be prepared to spend more than just the 4 to 6 weeks on it. Build in that buffer time, first of all, build in the buffer hours in your schedule, but also give yourself the grace to revisit it and tweak it as you go, because eventually it's going to be exactly what you and your clients need it to be. In the meantime, I would love it if you would leave me any questions below that you might have, or if what I've talked about today sparked any other questions you might have unrelated to today's video. Drop them below in the comments, because I would love to circle back and not only answer you, but create another video specifically addressing your questions, because I'm here for you. I want to help you build a business that you love while your babies are at school, so that you can enjoy them and spend time with them. And by the time it gets to summer, your business is running so well that you can work on your 10 like it's your full-time job. So I look forward to hanging out with you again. Please, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that you know when another video is available, so we can hang out again next time. Chat soon.